Hey guys, this is your girl Paula, the Queen from Queens. These are Money Minutes That Matter. It's a talk show where you call me with financial questions and I'll give you financial answers. On this show, we become accountability buddies. We'll walk hand in hand to eliminate debt, to help you maximize your financial future, and to optimize your health. As many of you know, I'm a nurse anesthetist. I've been practicing anesthesia for more than 20 years, but this is my passion. My passion is to help you move from being in debt, to help you maximize your life, to grow exponentially in using compound interest and not be beholden to a financial institution. This is our show. You call me, I'll give you the answers. This show is primarily sponsored by EAJ1023radio.com. We have some phenomenal callers on the line today. Let's get our show started. We have Laurie from St. Louis, Missouri on the line. Hi, Laurie.
Hi, Paula. How are you?
I'm well. I've never had a caller from St. Louis before. Thank you for calling my show.
Oh, sure. I've been listening to your show weekly, and I enjoy the advice that you give. So I said, let me call in and get her take on an ongoing issue I've been having.
I appreciate it. Well, what's your ongoing issue? Let's talk.
Okay. So my husband and I have pretty decent incomes, and we don't have any other debt other than a car note and our mortgage, of course. And we have a youngest son who's 22. He's still in college, and this is his senior year. So he'll be graduating in the spring, thank God. So our ages are 49 and 54.
Okay.
So for the last couple years, we've really been focused on retirement planning and vamping up our 401k contributions.
Good girl. I love you already.
My dilemma is, when people think you have a lot of money, they see you as a bank. So we have family members who constantly want to borrow money, and actually they feel entitled to borrow money, like we have to give it. Now, we don't mind helping people when they come down on hard times, because life happens, right?
Okay.
Especially right now with this pandemic, sometimes people do need legitimate help.
Okay.
But the problem is those who borrow repeatedly from you because of their mismanagement. And, it's hard to say no because you don't want to strain relationships, but it's really gotten to the point where it's getting old. Okay. And sometimes it causes conflict between my husband and me. Yeah. And, you feel used and unappreciated. So what would you recommend?
You are hilarious. People have nerve. They have an entitlement to your money. Because you work hard, because you have a successful income, you have a solid family, I'm assuming, and you don't appear to have any on the outside financial struggles, that they should get your money, maybe not pay you back.
Right.
And if you ask for your money back, it becomes a problem.
Exactly.
It's so interesting. I had a relative to call me about a month or two ago and ask me to pay their storage bill. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll pay your storage. How much is the storage bill? $250. So I paid it directly to the storage company. And I said, okay, well, how long have you had your stuff in storage? They don't just have one storage container. They have 2 storage containers. They've had their stuff in storage for 6 years. Imagine. Right. They're paying $250 a month, which is $3,000 a year times 6 years. That's $18,000 a year.
Right.
I looked into the storage container. It was a bunch of mess. It was disheveled. Things were on the floor. People were stepping on it. There were bags of things. There was clothing and books, and there were tons of records, probably of some value, just all sitting there, but totally nothing valued more than $1,500 collectively, the entire storage unit. But she's paid $18,000 for this storage unit. And I said that to her. I said, hey, you're losing tremendously. You need to get rid of this storage unit. So yes, relatives oftentimes feel that they can ask you for money and you can't get it back. So what is your husband saying about all this?
He's, it depends on who it is. Sometimes he's like, we're blessed to be a blessing to others, but at the same time, he's tired of the same ones, coming at, just because, like I said, of their mismanagement. So, we've pretty much gotten to the point where we have just decided we just have to say no. We're going to have to say no, but I'm just kind of having a hard time being direct and being honest, I and saying no.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, because financially you said everything is going well, you're really focusing on your retirement, and I appreciate that, because we as Americans aren't preparing for retirement. So I'm glad to hear that. But let me ask you, are these like parents? Parents you can't say no to. Parents you have to just give them the money.
No, absolutely, yeah, and I would not.
Okay.
No, my mom is deceased now.
Okay, sorry.
And my dad is in good shape. He has a pension. And my husband's dead. He only has a dad surviving too, and he is in good shape too.
Okay.
So no, it's really, honestly, it's mostly, it's my family.
Okay.
And it's like the nieces, and then it's going down to that next generation. So it's like a generational cycle that it needs to be broken, but that's a whole nother topic.
So you're rich Aunt Laurie.
Yes.
So
that's how they think. Yeah, that's how they see it.
Exactly, your money bags. So let me tell you what I would do, right? First of all, I'm assuming that you're giving money that you can afford to lose, meaning if they don't pay you back, it's not going to be a disaster for your mortgage or your child's tuition.
Exactly. Right.
Okay. So what you have to say is, you know what, right now, I can give you this money, but I can't give you any additional. My son's tuition is due. I'm paying for him to go to school. My husband and I are focusing on retirement. I just can't do it any longer. I love you, but I can't continue to give you this money. Maybe you should give them my budget sheet and let them learn how to budget their own money.
I will, but there's also, I think there's some laziness there, because at one point I was like handling one of their finances for them. Like, no, well, you just manage it for me then. And then that got old, because that was time consuming, and then they weren't even listening. So I'm like, okay, forget this. So yes, I will. That's a good idea. I will actually send them to your website. Have them download the budget sheet. And I mean, even though I've been preaching that you really should be budgeting, but then I guess I can try to make them do it themselves.
Well, the mass of Americans don't live by a budget. Don't even look at a budget. They just keep paying their bills. And all of a sudden when the money runs out, or maybe they're going shopping and they're hanging out and they're not covering their basic expenses, and they're looking for someone else to give them a handout.
Right.
At some point it has to stop.
Right.
So I'm with your husband. We're blessed to be a blessing, but we're not blessed to be used. And at some point we have to say no. So on my website is also a really good story that I wrote that says how to say no. There's power behind those two letters.
Okay.
We have Kim from Atlanta on the line. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Paula.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for letting me call in. I have a question for you.
Of course.
I've owned my home for about 15 years, and I want to purchase another house. However, I'm really thinking of refinancing my current house because I have some things that I need to buy and just kind of do that. But do you think that it would be a good idea to refinance, or do you think it would be wise to just move forward with trying to purchase a different house?
Good question, Kim. Let's find out who you are. Kim, how old are you?
I am 37.
You're 37. Are you married, children? Where are we at in life?
I am. I have 2 small girls, and I've been married for about 10 years now.
Okay, 10 years. Excellent. So you're looking to refinance or repurchase something new. You said something about you want to refinance things into your mortgage. What are we talking about? Do you have any debt, Kim?
Well, I do have some debt, and I'm not quite sure if it's a wise idea to put that debt within my my mortgage, or just trying to figure it out, because we're trying to be debt free. And what we were thinking is that if we are able to just kind of eradicate the debt, then we can be in a better position to buy. Or should we just sell the house that we have and just buy something? We just don't really know what the right thing to do is.
So let's talk about your debt. What kind of debt do you have?
Well, right now my husband and I, we have student loan debt, and we would like to put our kids back in private school, but I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to do that. So, and then of course we have car notes. So other than that, that's pretty much it. A little credit card debt, but we try to keep it down to like one card. But, sometimes things happen, and then we just kind of have to, move forward with using them. But,
okay.
That's pretty much it.
Let's talk numbers. How much student loan debt do you have, Kim?
Probably close to 30,000.
Okay.
I would say.
And you said, of course, we have car notes. How much, of course, car notes do we have?
Well, I say, of course. Okay, we have. So we had cars when we were in college, and then we just kind of had to buy new cars because they were getting old. So and then with the kids, we had to get something bigger, so we just had to go and buy cars. We didn't buy them at the same time. Fortunately, we were able to stagger them, but we ended up having, 2 car payments.
How much car debt do you have, Kim?
I think we only owe about 15 on one, and the other one is almost paid for, maybe about 3,000 or something like that.
3,000. And you said a little credit card debt, just one card. How much little credit card debt do we have?
Oh my goodness. It's hard to say. I really don't know. I should know that, shouldn't I? Maybe between 15 and 20. At the most, maybe 15, 20.
So you're telling me
now. They
now.
fluctuate because sometimes we pay them off and then they get bailed, and so it just depends.
So you have about $70,000 of consumer loan debt.
Wow. When you put it like that, it sounds a little bit.
So you've had your home for 15 years. I'm assuming that you have equity built up in your home.
We do, but I don't know how much we have. But I just didn't know. I don't know how much equity it is. But yes, I would think that we do. Yes.
Okay, so you're looking to take this $70,000 of debt, roll it into your home in the form of a new 30-year mortgage.
Well, when you put it like that, it sounds a little.
Well, let's discuss this and what ultimately happens, right? Right now is an incredible time to refinance. The mortgage rates are they're the best that I've ever seen. 30-year fix you can get for 3%. Never heard of. You can do a 15-year conventional loan at 2.6%. Never heard of in history. But again, this is a buyer's market. This is a seller's market. But to refinance your home and to put $70,000 into your home now, if you drag that new loan over the next 30 years when you're 67 years old, you're paying that $70,000 at least twice in terms of the form of interest.
Wow.
So I don't agree about doing a second mortgage or HELOC or refinancing your debt into your home so that you have one lump payment, because ultimately you have $3,000 on one car. Pay that off. Get your budget, look at your numbers, and you probably can knock out $70,000 of debt within 5 to 6 years' time.
I'm sorry, you mentioned HELOC. What is HELOC?
A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. It's a second mortgage.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
And what happens is people do that. They put their debt in there and they say, oh, well, now instead of me paying $1,500 a month on all of my debt, I'm only paying $400 a month over the next 30 years. But that $70,000 then becomes $150,000. So no, paying off debt requires a mindset change. You got to recognize that debt is a disease. It's a disease that can be cured. You've got to get out of the mindset of having debt. Yeah, I know big purchases like a home. Home builds value. So buying a home builds equity. But when you buy a car, within 30 days it depreciates. So you're losing equity, you're losing value. Credit cards, when you pay the interest, you're losing money out of your pocket. So if you didn't have all this debt, you could probably put your children through private school if that's your desire. But at the rate you're going, I wouldn't refinance my debt into my mortgage. I'd look at a budget, I'd look at how fast I can pay it off, and I'd move forward from there.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to see. I know my husband wanted me to just kind of get some information, and thank you. I appreciate that. That's good information. I'm going to talk to him about it, and we'll just try and make some decisions. Thank you so much, Paula.
Well, thank you. We have Alicia from New Brunswick, New Jersey on the line. Hi, Alicia.
Hi, Miss Paula.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What can I do for you today?
I'm calling because I've been listening to some of the advice that you've been giving on your shows with the other people who call in. And I just have a question about how to begin saving in general.
Okay.
Just as a person who, like, I live paycheck to paycheck. I work a lot, make enough money to survive, but I don't feel that I make enough money to save.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that. So, Alicia, tell me, what do you do?
I am a receptionist. I also have a few side hustles.
Okay.
I am a grant writer. I'm a writing consultant and a hairdresser.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. A grant writer, a writing consultant, and then a hairdresser. So you wear a whole bunch of hats.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you said you're living paycheck to paycheck, and 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Less than 50% of Americans have $1,000 saved. Do you have $1,000 saved for an emergency?
I do not.
You do not. So if something happens, either you're going further in debt by using a credit card, or you have to borrow, or you just have to do without. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about your debt. Do you have any debt?
I do. I do not have any credit cards, but I do have student loan debt and medical bill debt.
Student loan debt and medical bill debt. Now, you know, if you heard my show, student loan debt is a beast. $1.6 trillion. And I tell you what, no one wants it to go away, because the interest that they make on our money is just amazing. How much do you have in student loan debt?
I believe it's close to $40,000.
$40,000.
Even though I went to school in state, when I first started, my tuition was only about $13,000. I did get extra assistance, just being a minority from a low-income family. But I didn't know. I guess we all didn't know about interest.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that I don't have to pay anything at all until I graduate.
Yeah.
Because I got bills in the mail, but I just thought it didn't mean anything.
Right. And that's the whole idea. They want you to just tuck it to the side.
So
Absolutely.
it quadrupled how much I actually borrowed, because I did not borrow that much money.
How much did you borrow?
I would say maybe about $15,000 to $20,000.
Okay, so you borrowed $20,000, and now you're still owing $40,000. When did you finish school?
2010.
So how much do you pay in student loan debt each month?
$0.
You pay $0? How is that possible?
I get a deferment.
You get a deferment each month?
Yeah.
So have you not paid on your loans?
Not much.
Not much. So how do you expect your interest to stop accumulating if you're not paying your bills?
I just have felt that, I guess, kind of defeated.
You feel sure, of course.
Not really sure, not like what to do or how to ever get out of it.
Okay, of course. So medical bills, how much do you have in medical debt?
I would say maybe about $5,000.
$5,000. Do you not?
Because of like hospital stays and things like that.
Sure, of course. Do you not have medical insurance, or is this copay? Where are you at with that?
I do have insurance, but there was a time when there was a time that I did not have insurance, and I was getting Obamacare at one point.
Okay.
So it was like everything was way more expensive because of the medical issues that I had.
Okay.
There were programs that I could be accepted to help me out, to get them to help pay.
Okay.
But I still have bills.
You still have bills. Are you paying on your medical bills?
Yes.
You are paying. How much are you paying for that monthly?
I would say maybe $100.
$100. So $100 is $1,200 a year, and they're probably not charging you interest, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's going to take you a little more than 4 years to pay that off. When did you start doing that?
I would say maybe like 5 years ago.
So you've been paying this amount of money for 5 years. So you've already put in $4,800, and you still owe $5,000 more.
Right, because then I'll have something else that comes up.
Yeah, and that's the reality.
Yeah.
Most Americans, people just think, oh, it's just minorities. Most Americans are struggling with the cost of healthcare. And now that with the new administration, they're looking to take all of that federal Obamacare off the table. It's going to impact 20 million Americans.
Right, I can just imagine.
Yeah, that's real stuff. 20 million Americans received health care and no consideration of pre-existing disorders because of Obamacare. And now the administration is looking to take that off the table. So let's talk. So how much money do you make approximately each year?
Approximately... maybe 35,000.
You make 35,000.
35 and 40. I'm not sure of the exact number.
That's perfect. 35 and $40,000 a year. Is that as a receptionist? Is that a grant writer, or is it as a hairdresser? What are we doing?
I get most money from my job.
So,
I would say,
but
my regular full-time job. As far as considering my salary for the year, because the things that I do on the side they're not really guaranteed.
Sure. So the $40,000 you make,
people need my services.
So the $40,000 you make is from your receptionist income.
Correct.
Perfect. Okay. So we need to talk about how to dwindle down on these other debts. Have you pulled your credit report recently?
I have not this year.
You have not. Let's do that. We need to pull your credit reports, all three companies. We need to see what your credit report looks like. Do you have any idea what your credit score is?
I do not.
Okay. We need to know what your FICO score is. We need to know what your credit report says about you. Because although you have these student loan debts, you're not paying them, you're deferring them, it may have a big blah on your credit report, which says that you're a risk. Also, your medical debt, it may also be on your credit report. We need to know that. Secondly, your second homework is I need you to go to my website, www.robertstargetfinancials.com. I have a budget sheet on there. I also have a debt pay down form on there. How are you managing your expenses? Is your salary in a position to cover your expenses?
Not everything.
Not everything.
I do get help with my car payment and my car insurance. My parents actually help.
Your parents are helping you. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
We need to get you on a budget, young lady. And that's your homework. You call me back once you've downloaded my form. I will allocate 2 hours of my time at no cost, and I will talk you into writing a good budget and helping you to stick to it, because you and I are going to become accountability buddies, okay? Okay. Well, thank you for calling my show. So, after these callers, I need to read this article to you, because we are all living in a position where we're not controlling our finances. We need to change that. We are in control of our lives, our financial destination, and the destination for generations to come. How do we correct generational deficits and build generational wealth, not just financially, but also by education, by doing sociological things that will benefit our community. So I found an article on Forbes, and the title of the article is 78% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. Career Builders found during a survey that 78% of U.S. workers are living paycheck to paycheck. And it goes on to say, for example, there are some findings from the survey. Nearly 1 in 10 workers making $100,000 live paycheck to paycheck. More than 1 in 4 workers do not set aside any savings each month. Nearly 3 in 4 workers say that they are in debt, and more than half think they will always be. I found that on my show many times, people just accepting debt. More than half of minimum wage workers say they have to work more than one job to make ends meet. This is why I say to my callers, if you have something on the side, you have a side hustle, make it work for you. We can all become a millionaire if we save and invest properly. Long-term compound interest is the winner. And then it says 28% of workers making $50,000 to $99,999 usually or always live paycheck to paycheck, and 70% are in debt. The survey also found that 32% of nearly 3,500 full-time workers surveyed use a budget, and only 56% save $100 or less a month. So what are the best strategies to weather a financial storm? 3 strategies to weather the financial storm. 1, start an emergency fund. Remember my oops bucket where we were saving $5 a month in each container? One was an oops jar. In the event of an emergency, you have the cash instead of using a credit card. Number 2 says start a side hustle. Braiding hair, writing for people, editing, and also selling cookies. Number 3 says consolidate your credit card debt. Not my favorite answer, because instead of just restructuring your debt, we need to learn how to not be in debt at all. If you put it into another credit card, but you don't have the mindset change, then you're going to have the same problems all over again. But this is why we're here. This is why we work together. Let's get back to the show. We have Willie from Baltimore, Maryland on the line. Hi, Willie.
Hi, Paula.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. What can I do for you today?
Yes, I had this financial question, if I may ask you.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, what is the best way to save when you first move into an apartment for your first time?
What's the best way to save when you move into your first apartment? Okay, well, let's talk about you. What kind of apartment do you have? Do you have your own apartment? Are you sharing an apartment? What are you doing?
I'm sharing an apartment with 4 other roommates.
With 4 other roommates. And what's your monthly cost?
My monthly cost, well, for myself, I pay $350 a month and for rent and $75 for BG&E.
So your BG&E, which is your gas and electric, that's $300 a month?
Yes.
Okay. And you're paying $350, so your rent's $1,400 a month?
Yes.
Okay. So let's figure out more things about you. How old are you, Willie?
I just turned 22 this year.
You're 22. Congratulations. Now, are you working full-time or part-time?
I'm working full-time, but I have part-time hours.
You work full-time, but you have part-time hours. How many hours a week do you work?
I work 14 to 20 hours a week.
14 to 20 hours a week. How much do you make an hour?
I make $12 an hour.
$12 an hour. And approximately how much money do you bring home every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks, I approximately bring out $600 every 2 weeks.
$600 every 2 weeks. So you make about $1,200 a month, which is about $14,000 a year.
Yes.
Well, that's it's a good start. It doesn't matter where you start. It's a good start. So ultimately, what's been happening in our industry? About 5 years ago, when Congress changed the regulations in terms of part-time, full-time, if you're working part-time hours, then you don't have to get any benefits. Are you getting any benefits?
No, for the company I work for, we don't have any benefits and they don't have any insurance.
So no insurance, no benefits. Do you get any vacation time or sick time?
No, I don't believe so.
No. Okay, so how do you save money? If your expenses are costing you $425 per month, not including food, right? Transportation, throw in another couple $100 for food, transportation, another $75. So now you're up to $700 per month, give or take another $100. So you still have, I guess about $400 a month that you can save. But my bigger question to you is $14,000 a month is well below poverty. What will you be doing for your future? 22 is fine, $1,400, $1,200 a month is fine, $14,000 a year is fine as a 22-year-old. But as you age and you get a family and get responsibilities, that's not enough money to sustain you. So what's your education level? Did you finish school?
Yes, I graduated from high school.
Okay.
That is my high, but currently right now, once all the coronavirus pandemic is over, I plan on trying to join CCBC for online college.
Okay, online college, I like that. And with your income level, I'm sure that you can get qualified for some grants and scholarships. Now, college is a great path. Have you thought about the military?
Yes, I have thought about the military. I thought of joining the military fresh out of high school.
Okay.
Yes, and the reason I haven't joined the military is because I want to study more of my SAT scores, and I heard that they was trying to test on militaries to test the coronavirus vaccine.
Okay. Well, as far as the military goes and testing on people, I don't believe that that's true. I was in the military. I was a captain in the United States Army. I was discharged about 5 years ago, honorably, of course. And we don't test on soldiers. So I think that's a fallacy. And I know a lot of stuff is going around on social media about them making human guinea pigs out of the American soldiers. I don't believe that to be true. So if that's the reason why you're not considering the military, that may not be the best reason not to do it. So what do you do, Willie? What do you do? What's your specialty?
My specialty is baking.
You're a baker. What do you bake?
I bake cookies and cakes.
Cookies and cakes. Okay. Have you been doing this? Are you doing this on the side? What are you doing? How are you earning money with your cookies and your cakes?
Well, on the side, I'm currently trying to start selling cookies, mainly like a different spin take on chocolate chip and snickerdoodle cookies.
Okay.
And I have a lot of customers. I have been getting a lot of feedback saying that I should also start pushing cheesecake because I have a lot of great feedback about how delectable my cheesecakes are.
Okay, so why can't you do that as a side hustle, right? $14,000 is fine if that's how you're going to start. And if you're telling me that your expenses are $700 to $800 a month and you have an additional $500 a month, why can't you save half of that in a savings, have an emergency set up in case something happens, but then take the other $200 a month and put that towards your business, put that towards material, and maybe you can go to a local shop, a local restaurant, a local pastry distributor, and ask them if they can market your products.
That is a great idea. I've been trying to think about ways to do it, mainly like by myself, mainly on social media. Like once I get the product and everything out, once I have a great setup on how my foundation is, I was gonna start putting pictures on Facebook, Instagram, let them know what my ideas was.
Absolutely. I mean, social media is such an amazing outlet now. You don't have to have a huge distribution cost. You don't have to have a huge cooking supply source where you got to be in some big commercial building. Social media is amazing, and it's allowing common everyday people to make money, to become millionaires. This is the time to get it done. You have a local market in Baltimore. You can actually put it in your car, put it in your basket, put it in your knapsack, and start distributing cookies $1, $2 a piece, a cake $5, and make some side money. So that's the way I think you should save being a new and young entrepreneur. And because the pandemic is here, I tell you that just like during the Great Depression, there were more American millionaires created during the Great Depression than any other time in our history. I say go for it. Save your money, invest in yourself, and let's get this going. Because your job that you have now it's a job to nowhere. You have no benefits. You're not growing anywhere. It's giving you less than 20 hours per week. And they're telling you that you're full-time with part-time wages, which also means they can make you do just a few hours a day or not call you in at all. They're not tied or invested in you. So you've got to invest in yourself.
Yes, I do. I do have to invest in myself to have a better future in this society that we live in.
I agree with you. Well, good luck to you in your cookie making. Send me a cookie, okay? This is it. Our show has now come to an end. Continue listening to EAJ1023radio.com. These are money minutes that matter. They matter because you matter to me. I want us as Americans to continue believing that this is our nation and that together we can do anything. All things are possible. Faith conquers fear. We don't have to be in debt. Debt is a disease that can and must be cured, but it requires a mindset change. Once you know what can be done, then you can make better decisions. This is why I'm here. Call me, text me, 301-246-6644. It's time to say goodbye, but I love you. Keep checking out my show. Subscribe, and I'll give you as much information as I can. If I don't know it, I have enough friends who can be both of our resources to get you the information. Have an amazing day.
Roberts Targets Financial is not a certified professional service of finances, brokers, accountants, taxes, insurance, or legal. We research the advice that is given to provide the most accurate, up-to-date information. This information is designed to work in conjunction with your information. All information is suggestions. We recommend that you consult with a trusted licensed professional for your specific decisions. All information is for general purposes. We are not liable for any losses or gains. We accept no responsibility for any decisions made after participating on or from listening to the show or from Roberts Targets Financial. If you like this episode, hit the subscribe button.